Hi, I wanted to show the P-Series drive. I have it configured in analog mode. I'm using the Drive Support Tool software, which is a free download. Under Drive/Motor General Configuration, you can change the control mode. I have it set up for analog velocity / analog torque, so I can actually toggle that, and I'll show that to you. You can also set it up in dedicated analog velocity mode or analog torque mode. Step and direction, which is a pulse input, and you can also toggle between step and direction, which is pulse, and analog modes. In the oscilloscope, if you click run, I've got the velocity shown up here on the top, and I've got the torque feedback shown on the bottom here. The analog input is under the I/O menu. And so I have 100 RPM per volt set up for the velocity input. Now the drive on the drive I/O connector, the analog input is pins 7 and 8. The velocity input is pins 9 and 10. I actually have those jumpered together, so the same analog input can be used for torque or velocity. You could actually have two separate analog inputs coming from a PLC or external motion controller. And so if I give the motor a little bit of resistance, now it's in S-run mode, which on the display you can see that is actually speed mode. So even if I try to resist the load, it's going to try to maintain the velocity because it's in speed mode. Now, if it's in torque mode, it's going to try to maintain the torque, so it's not maintaining the velocity at all. And if I simulate my mode input, you can see that because there is no resistance at all, I'm going to turn the auto scale on for the velocity. You can see it's ramped up all the way up to 500 RPM, and I would actually go further than that. I'm actually limiting the top end speed. Even though we're in torque mode, in the drive you can actually limit the maximum speed. Now by default, you would the default value is 3000, so you get the full torque range of the motor, so you're not limiting the motor. But you can actually come into the okay, here's the torque limit value, and the velocity limit in speed mode is under the velocity menu, speed limit value at torque control mode. So if I were to bump this up to 1000, then I look at my scope, you can see now I'm going up to 1000 RPM. So because it's trying to maintain the torque, not the velocity, so I could actually slow this down. I only have 1 volt on here, so I'm commanding very little torque. So it would just, and then if I can give it a little nudge, it'll start running at a velocity because there is no external friction. It's just an inertial wheel connected to the motor. So that's kind of the difference between analog torque and analog velocity mode. If you have any questions, feel free to email us. Thanks and have a great day.